We thank you for your mercy and your love that's fresh to us every day. Thank you for the blessings of food and friendship and fellowship around the table. We thank you for Rotary and its desire to help us to be servants to those around us, service above self. Bless us in that mission, Lord, and help us to be successful as we make this prayer in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Randy. Pledge allegiance. Maybe Steve. So we do have some guests with us today. We haven't had one with us. Council.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce our guests. Please stand when your name is called and remain standing until all names have been introduced. Our first guest is Susan Ferguson. Next, we have Lori Ross, guest of April Ross. Then we have Dorothy Pippin, guest of Chuck Newman. And lastly, we have Kim Stiff, guest of Jake Jones. Welcome.
Thanks, guys. All right, and the four of you, please come back. We have great programs during the week, good fellowship and food, so please plan to join us again. We'd love to have you. We do have a handful of birthdays I want to announce. Dr. Kilbrew had a birthday yesterday. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, all right, good. Glenn Clements, best next door neighbor in history, has a birthday today. Joe Ragland has one tomorrow. Barbara has one on the 12th. And then Luther Jones has one on April 14th. So if you see them, wish them a happy birthday. And we don't have any club member anniversaries, but we do have one wedding anniversary. Red, how many years?
9 years.
Congratulations. All right. I want to move on. We have a couple of things related to the club I want to share. First of all, I apologize for this, but we are going to reschedule our social at Wild League. We found out 3 or 4 days ago that they're going to be doing trivia at the same time, which would be fun, but it's almost at the same time. So it just felt like it would take away from the fellowship to shift immediately to the trivia. So we're looking at new dates, possibly Tuesday, May 14th, but I'll firm that up this week and let you all know over there. Appreciate everybody's flexibility. We had a good crowd coming. We had about 40 people to RSVP, so we'll get that back on the calendar in the next week or so. We have a special offer from Mike Wilson. I think this is a really cool thing. Mike's always thinking about others. So we have 3 programs for the masters this week, not tickets. That would be something. That would be something. But if everybody would take a quick peek under your chair, and there should be a sticker under there for 3A. Did everybody look for the tournament? So we have some very special awards to offer, and I'm going to ask Carrie to come up and help with that process. We have some Paul Harris awards to give out, and one really, really special. So, Carrie?
Hi, and I know you guys have heard me talk about this before. Acknowledging being a Paul Harris Fellow is a way for the Rotary Foundation to show gratitude for a significant contribution to its charitable and educational programs. This recognition is named after Paul Harris, a lawyer from Chicago who, along with 3 business associates, founded the organization in 1905. To qualify, an individual must make a direct or cumulative donation of $1,000 or more to the annual program fund, Polio Plus Partners, or the humanitarian grant programs, either personally or on behalf of someone else. As contributions reach subsequent $1,000 levels, additional recognition in the form of a pin with corresponding stones is given. Paul Harris once expressed the belief that those who seek the good in others will be rewarded, as others will also find the good in them. We have several members that are being acknowledged today. If you would come up and receive your pin and stay up here until the end so we can get your big group shot, that'd be awesome. First person for reaching the Paul Harris Fellow level is Bill Honeycutt.
Congratulations.
And the next group is for Paul Fellow here in 1. So this is to the next level. And that's Bill Bowling. Carlton Wood. Ed Biggs. Ed Gordon. Marquette Baker. Ted Beeson. And our next level of giving is Paul Harris Fellow +2, Sandy Simmons. Our next level is +3, so Danny Guy. Chuck Newman. Jeff Brown. Mike Angstadt. And Randy Nix. And if you guys can kind of maybe make 2 lines here and get back together, because we'll take a picture at the end.
You're pretty good. I want to stand next to Danny so I look good.
It's a great group. Okay, and Last but not least, certainly, I am pleased to take this opportunity to honor Barbara Hennigan, who has generously contributed to the Rotary Foundation and in doing so has achieved major donor status. Because of Barb's dedication to the foundation, we honor her with major donor level 1 recognition. Thank you, Barb, for this support. So much good begins with your generosity. You give to others without knowing their stories, faces, or names. In so doing, you demonstrate through your generous act that all fellow human beings are worthy of our compassion. Your act of kindness is a seed of peace that will yield returns for the community served by your generosity and from Rotary as a premier foundation and organization. You are among a dedicated and select group of humanitarians who have committed themselves to serving others. Major donors change the lives of children, young people, adults, communities, and the world we all belong to. Please come forward and accept your congratulations. Your gift inspires others to give, not just of their treasure, but of their time and talent, which you do so gracefully. In recognition of your investment, the Rotary Foundation's wonderful projects and programs, I present the crystal and major donor pendant on behalf of the Foundation's trustees. Please join me in recognizing them.
Hurry up and say what you want to say. The only thing I want to say is this took me like 20 years to get to this level, so thank you.
You want her over there?
You can't see. Don't see.
All right, here we go. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Pretty impressive. It's great. Thank you all for your generosity. We appreciate it. So, one announcement, I just wanted to remind everybody, we're thinking about doing a GRSP student. So if you want to host, let Connie know. We're trying to make that decision now. So please, if you want to be a host family, let Connie know. So how are we doing on time? All right, couple of happy dollars. Any happy dollars?
A happy $5 for Stephen Thomas, a name you may not know. A great sculptor and artist from the 20th century in Atlanta and around about. And a wonderful film about him was on PBS, sponsored by the Stephen Thomas Museum over in Buckhead, Georgia. A wonderful museum. That film will be shown tomorrow at LaGrange College at 5:30 in the Beeson Room at West Side Building. And there's no charge, but if you come, it is wonderful. It will be a great support for the college in its art activities.
Thank you, George.
$1 there from me, one from John. We're back. So on each of your hands, you have a sign-up sheet. I expect a lot of information going on the sign-up sheet for me to help form a committee. I think I mentioned last week, there's a lot of logistical stuff that we want to get ready for our run on September 21st. But there's also a fundraising aspect.
There is. We're raising these funds for literacy. If you know it all, where Georgia ranks nationwide in literacy. We're not up here. Troup County isn't up here for Georgia. It's Dustin. We need funding. We have programs that address literacy throughout our community, and that dollars go to help fund those programs. If you can participate and help with the race and do things,
We want you, if you can, make a payment. We need money to make it happen. We shy away from it, but it's gonna take everything in our community. So if you can write a check and support runners, let me know. I'll find runners for you to support. We ought to be able to get funding from every school, funding for every one of those, and another 100, 150 runners from around. The runners last year said they loved the course. I didn't have an idea. I don't run. So it's a good course. It's a qualifying race for Peachtree Road Race. So from just a runner's perspective, it serves the purpose also. But our greater purpose is literacy in Troup County, and it needs addressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Long time between now and.
Michelle?
If you're entitled or attended the West Point Lake Dragon Boat Race, raise your hand. All right. So if you have not, there's one thing we haven't been out there, it's July 13th, so pull up your calendar now, put it on there, July 13th, out of West Point Lake, behind their park. It's benefit the Harmony House, but it's a dragon boat race, just like it sounds, it's 48 foot paddle boat. You paddle as fast as you can for a quarter of a mile. So if you have not paddled, come on out. If your organization, your business, your club, your Bible study group, your neighborhood, West Point Lake Dragon Boat Race, Google it, you can sign up, register, but registration ends on May 1st, and the event is July 13th.
Thank you.
This weekend at LSTA, we have Stuart Little, which is our elementary program for camp. And it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night at 7, and Saturday at 2. And it's a bonus, if you would be interested in tickets, I have 2 free ones here. So just let me know, and we'll make sure you get the shot. Thank you.
Last but not least, this Saturday and Sunday, you have a chance to come here, 32 or 3 of your favorite local men who will gather together to sing as Sons of Lafayette and present a concert with 17 numbers that range from spirituals to modern day songs, some very elaborate renditions, one of which was written for Sidney Tate, who was a former pastor or associate pastor at First Methodist. Beautiful songs, a lot of fun. If nothing else, just come out and watch you guys have fun doing it. First concert is at 7 o'clock on Saturday evening. Second concert is at 4 o'clock on Sunday. It'll be worth an hour and a half of your time just to get there and hear this inspiring music, because we will have fun. Thank you. Say, he has skills. I don't know about the other 31. He can bring it. So you all know Scott, but let's give him a proper introduction. I'm going to ask Jason to come up and introduce him to the group. Thank you.
I'm excited about our speaker today, Scott Malone. I coached soccer with Scott for years, and I still see a lot of those parents and kids that we coach together around town. Some of those kids I see at a stoplight next to me driving. When I see the kids around town, they always say, "Hey, do you remember me?" I see the parents, they always say, "Thank you." The two of y'all impacted my kids probably more than any other coach, and I think that has a lot to do with our speaker today. Scott, when we got together to do this, he said, "My priority is to teach these kids the right thing." He taught them about integrity. He taught them about following the rules. He taught all those intangibles about doing things the right way. And then we got to the skills of kicking a ball and passing the ball and not using your hands. I think that set a foundation for a lot of those kids, and those parents still say that. So that's the Scott Malone that I know. He's a native of LaGrange. He obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in chemical engineering from the Georgia Institute of Technology, a certificate in laboratory sciences from the University College of London, and an MBA from Duke University, with a concentration in finance and real estate development. Scott spent the first part of his career working with Anderson Consulting, based out of Atlanta, and managed international projects throughout Europe and the Philippines. While living in Manila, Scott developed a core competency in the aviation space, working projects for Philippine Airlines, Then he went on to serve as the president and COO of New World Air Holdings, the primary owner and operator with American Express of Indigo, the country's first corporate jet airline. Shortly following the events of 9/11, Scott returned to Atlanta to found Malone and Company, a capital investment firm, and in 2004 returned to LaGrange as the managing partner of the hospitality company Granger Inns and the commercial real estate company Granger Inns II. He and his partners combined and sold their operating business in 2014. And then in February of 2016, Scott was named the president of the Development Authority of LaGrange, where he remains today. Scott is a tireless cheerleader for our community. He is always out there talking to people about it, pumping us up, tell other people. He's got a passion for the progress of our area, and he's going to talk about some of the progress that's happening today. He's a former member of this club. He's a past president of this club. So help me welcome back Scott.
Thanks, Jason. Those soccer days, I don't forget, and I want my son and your son are one of those drivers.
That's right.
It goes in really quick. When you talk about being president of Rotary, that was 11 years ago. And Barb's still here making. But what a great to see all the faces, and familiar faces. I missed my time, in Rotary, and I got out in 2018, and right after 2018, because of regular block project, because their construction meetings were always on Wednesdays, and haven't just freed up since then. And we're going to talk about those things. We had a call board meeting this morning. Jeff Brown was there and knows that I could talk for 3 hours if you wanted to. We've got so many incredibly exciting things going on. We're blessed as a community, and I know you all know. So I'm blessed that y'all are here. It's great seeing a great crowd, all the fellows. This club has always been known for giving. You can see why the name Rotary in Vernon is so important, and a club that's been around for a long, long time. I'm going to share a few things. Right, I literally could stand here for 3 hours. And Jeff and Tripp and some of the board members know that we do have so much going on. I'm going to blow through the first half. I'm not going to talk. But this is typically what we're doing. We're trying to attract somebody to LaGrange in Truth County. We go through this presentation, and I'm remiss if Jason invited, but my partner in crime is Kelly Bush, and if you really want to know the brains of the operation, she's in it. She's brilliant, speaks multiple languages. She speaks Chinese. Project Eagle we'll talk about. Had a call they scheduled yesterday at 11:30 today, and so she had to stay on the call. It's a very significant project she's been on for 7 years. Or she would be here. And she leads what really drives us today, which is workforce development. And we're not going to be able to get into that. I'm just going to talk about projects. But if you want to know why these things are happening, it's workforce development. That's what the driver is. And most people don't understand what that is. But for us, it's attainable housing, it's transportation, it's childcare and daycare, and it's alignment of our education system. These are all the things that really drive what's going on. We're blessed as a community to have the resources. When we talk about what's going on, the Callaway Foundation is thread through everything that we talk about, because we as a community are more blessed than any community. I've lived in 26 cities and 8 countries around the world, and to be able to come back to my hometown and recognize what a role the foundation has played and continues to play. Tripp's been a great leader of that, as he is. And the third is partner of our team is Patrick Bowie. And I can tell you the greatest thing that's happened in this community in probably the last 10 years is Patrick being named city manager. He's been director of utilities for 30 years. He's in every project meeting that we have. And it's just absolutely phenomenal. I'm not saying that because his mom's here, but it's because he's true. He really is. Leadership matters, and that's what Rotary's all about. He's a fantastic leader. People love him, and we certainly do too. We talk about the Callaway Foundation. We talk about strategic planning and the role those partnerships play. We talk about the success we've had as a community. Georgia's been ranked number 1 state 10 years in a row, and LaGrange and Troup County are right at the top of the list for the state of Georgia year after year after year. We have a great workforce around us. We'll talk about in a bit. These are a lot of the programs Kelly has created that we work through that really drive what's going on, and we could spend 2 hours talking about just workforce. But ultimately, we're going to get to infrastructure. This is where we are, where we're located. We created the Southern Research Triangle many, many years ago that we continue to do our sustainability initiatives. Obviously, LaGrange College and West Georgia Technical College and Point University, our education system. We have a lot of great resources there to continue to work. The Georgia International Business Park, a lot of people still don't even know what that is, right? It's the largest business park in the Southeast, fourth largest in the country. We don't own or control the whole thing. We have 41 international companies from 18 different countries in it. And while a lot of people didn't know the LaGrange the LaGrange Industrial Park or Jim Hamilton, they all know what the Georgia International Business Park is around the road now. It's put us on the map back in 2018, and we continue to present. Obviously, great quality of life, partnerships with the foundation, the thread are all wonderful things. Projects. Y'all have to watch the clock because I looked up last week and I'd hardly got started and I had 5 minutes to present it to Limestone. I'm going to tell you, the jump up in technology is phenomenal. I mean, last week I couldn't see the screen. I had to store a white paper I was having to use to give a presentation, and this is quite fantastic. Remington, a lot of people know, obviously a project we wanted to do in 2021. $102 million investment, 800 plus jobs. A lot of people don't recognize that they're actually here now, right? They've been operating since 2022 off Saywan Boulevard. They have about 100 employees. They've made all their short barrel rifles there. They've now just moved their first line down to the shotguns, the B3 shotgun line. It's only 80,000 square feet. You can't get another piece of equipment into that building. They're making fantastic product. You may see the announcement where they shut down. Finally, after 207 years in Gilead, New York, they shut down in the first week of March. And so that has ramped up the speed and the need for this project down here. The site, this picture was only from about 2 weeks ago. South Asia is where they're building a 480,000 square foot corporate headquarters, distribution, manufacturing facility. You can see 85 back in the background, Ridley Lake's right off to your left. It's right behind the fire station located on the Davis bypass. They're super excited about this project. We were with the CEO all last week. They just brought in a new project manager who's running facilities up in New York, who's taken over. Mike Swanick's his name. He'd be probably a great Rotarian. But the company's doing well. They'll kick off their DCA grant tomorrow. They've got a $6 million grant to keep them running, to keep the project going forward. So super excited project. It's going to take them a little bit while to ramp up. I normally start with, I love traffic and I love trains. There's nobody here who loves traffic and loves trains, but I do, because we're growing. And these companies do too. So that we have the housing that's necessary. And the best thing as we go through this has happened to us is this little $7 billion project down in Savannah, where it's turned out to be quite a mess. That's really shine a light on how wonderful an environment we have up here in Troup County. And you can start talking about the Kia project. We talk about the EV market. I think in the country we've overshot this market. They did the Rivian project. We thought, and we're very close with the state leadership, Pat Wilson's the Commissioner of Economic Development. We've been working with him ever since we've been in this role. And we shared, Rivian's not a very well-run company. They committed a lot of resources. They went into a community that didn't want them, that sued them, that held up the project. And as y'all know now, that whole project's been paused. And so they moved the two models that were going to be going into the Rivian facility up to Illinois, saved them about $2.5 billion, and they paused the project up in, up near Madison, Georgia. And so that facility's up, by the way. If you haven't seen it, the infrastructure's up, and the plant's going to sit there, for a while. Hyundai, going to be a short-term loser and a long-term winner. Short-term, they've created quite a problem down in Savannah. They dropped this $7 billion project, in the middle of, they say it's Savannah, but it's not Savannah, right? It's in Effingham County, Bryan County, and Bullitt County, Chatham, the edges of Chatham County. But it's like being in Hurd County, right? They don't even own the water that they have. We've got a blessing when we have permits for 22 million gallons of water today. And still, it's one of the reasons we've been so successful in the range because of what Mr. Callaway did a long time ago. They don't own the water. They have to get it from a separate county, and it's owned by a private developer. Who would like to be that private developer? But stop and think about that. This is the blessings we have, right? They don't have the infrastructure. The state, through that project down there, they threw a lot of money at it. Hyundai's a great company. The company will end up doing fine. They just put it in the middle where there are no people. There are no people. You think we don't have people. This is the blessing for us because they go, my God, y'all got a lot of people. And you start talking about Union and Auburn and Columbus and East Alabama. And we have all our influence. We're running through in the middle. Huge plus for us. And we're a manufacturing community. by training and by history, right? And so when you make things, you're gonna survive. And we don't just make things, we make great things. The products that come out of this county are astounding, world class. And that's an overused word, but it's a fact. Who's gonna win long term? Yeah. Kelly and I had lunch with Stuart just a couple weeks ago. That guy's got a smile on his face as big as even. We're having pizza down at West Point. You know, and the reality of the first EV product out of the state of Georgia is going to roll out of Truth County next month. The first EV9 will come out. The blessing is they're going to continue making the combustion engine product, and they're making world-class products, right? So they're just plugging this new EV in, but it's not the whole plant. And so they're going to win big because of the quality of the product and at a level and product mix that's going to help them win in the long term. That's going to be great for Truth County. I think you're going to see 4 companies win in that market. NIO is Chinese. They're way ahead of everybody by a long way. They're going to win. Tesla's going to continue to do well. Kia is going to be an enormous winner with Honda. And so you're going to see Ford's pulled back $12 billion in investment in the EV market. GM's pulling back. Toyota's pulling back. They're all pulling back. That big SK plant up in Commerce, they've already laid off 2,600 people. They only had 4,000. They only open for 2 years because of the pullback in the EV market. Great for us, though, right? Great for Truth County because we're filling up our buildings as we go through, as we continue. This project down at the bottom was off of Pegasus Parkway. Crow Holdings built it, 323,000 square foot facility before we even got the concrete poured. Kia had leased the building for the EV project, right? So they're using it as a sequencing warehouse for the EV9. And so fully occupied, $35 million CapEx just for that. We haven't done any announcements on these, by the way. We talk about all these products, you see announcements all, we ain't even had time. You know, and opportunity is not always there to go get a press release from the governor with regard to projects. Most communities would die for a $35 million project, and this is just one of about 15. And so Kia is going to continue to do well, and we're very excited about it. Here's the company, even our board doesn't know. Jeff heard about it this morning. This was known as Project Summer. And so this is a $120 million investment. They've been very quietly in the community. Anybody remember the last project? There are a few people going to that. Didn't work out for a lot of reasons. It was a great project, by the way. They overshot what they needed from a capital standpoint. They brought that industry to town. The beautiful thing that came out of it, Kevin Pfeiffer, that business who lives in the Grange, son-in-law, is the head of strategic development for Supreme. So we lost that project, but gained the relationship. And this project's a $120 million investment. They're not going to do a press release. They're already here. They bought the land back in November. They're going out of the corner of Orchard Hill at Pegasus Parkway. And so they make advanced roofing materials. They're French. They're owned by one gentleman, $7 billion company. And he didn't want to do a press release, but he didn't want the competition to know. But they got their permits and all that, so people are going to hear the name. They just don't want it in the papers. But Supreme is the name of the company. They'll have about 9 employees in a lot, very high paying job. They pay their employees 3 weeks pay at Christmas. French culture, European culture, very specific. I'll add as I go through this, we turned down $1.3 billion of projects in 2023. So we're picking through projects that are very strategic for us and what we're trying to accomplish. And that's been by design, and it's been by design for the last 8 years, what we've tried to focus on. Automotive's always going to be there, but we want to do it. Kimberly Clark, most people don't realize 2 years ago, they closed this facility. Right, and so they were making the product for the diaper industry. Amazon killed the diaper industry, and they came and said, "This plant is a standalone facility for us. Beautiful facility in the Grange. We got to figure out how to retool this plant, get something done," and they did that. So they did a $62.5 million project and finished at the beginning of 2023, and it saved 200 jobs. And now, not only did it save those 200 jobs, now they're an integral part of the supply chain for 4 plants within Kimberly Clark. So they'll be here for the next 20 years. They're looking at another expansion right now that will blow your mind when you start looking at things like 25 and 30 jobs with 6-figure size. And so we're in the middle of some of that right now. Kimberly Clark, our existing industry is our most important thing. Everybody likes the new shiny object, but existing industry is really ultimately where it's at. This is not Durson. They got a lot going on, but this is the supplier to Durson, Project JH. So they're a strategic supplier throughout all of Asia for Duracell. And so they've got under contract, 130-acre tract off Callaway South next to Badcock Distribution to build a vertically integrated to support the Duracell initiative here at LaGrange in Troup County. And so about a $75 million CapEx. That once again, they're a global supplier. We should close on the real estate beginning of 2024 on Callaway South property, land that the foundation gave to the authority as a controlling option, so we didn't have to go and ask for land. That's a critical piece for us when we can go into a deal, or we got control of the land. That's where a lot of people fail. Project Eagle, this is why Kelly couldn't be here today. This project's been going on for 7 years. $288 million project, very strategic for us. They're out of Hong Kong. It's a private company. Their product is in every store you go in. Food that they make salsa. They make Asian salsa. Unbelievable project. They'll hire about 300 people. Once again, high-paying jobs. Here, as you can see, this is the south side of Callaway South. So J8 is commercial supply on the northern side up in Pegasus Boulevard, and Project Eagle will take the south side. So we're scheduled, the governor will make the press release sometime beginning of June, but a really, really strategic project for us. First time we really went into food and beverage. But when you start talking about $288 million projects with the types of jobs we're talking about, it's unbelievable. And it's the diversification away that the state really likes. So we've been strategic and the state continues to support as a result. A lot of people have heard about it before. We've worked on this for 7 years, right? They closed on the land in 2022. If you don't know where it is, there's Walmart distribution. It's going right below, right on the room there. You figure it's important. And so they are, it's about an $85 million CapEx. Anybody knows anything about an inland port? It's really not about the inland port project. It's about what they bring to the community. 20 years from now, I don't remember any of us, but they're going to remember the inland port has been one of the most significant projects in the history of Troup County. And so very, very significant. They're right now scheduled to be operational by the first quarter of 2027. We're working with Stewart County to try and get it pushed up because this is a big project for Kia. They can get 130,000 containers a year through this facility. 50,000 makes it work. And we were in the strategic plan in 2018. It just takes time to get the wheel rolling, but that'll be a very significant project as we move forward. And the Troup Logistics Center was a $35 million project that we did off of beside Caterpillar. It's a 192,000 square foot facility. They finished in December of 2023, and we had it full by January. So Tice and Dahan Solutions now occupy that building. They split the building in half. They both supply they're both suppliers for Kia for the EV9. Pegasus Industrial 2, the one that Kia went into, is now going right across the street from Badcock. This is a $38 million, 350,000 square foot facility, industrial spec building. As soon as they start coming out of the ground, we'll have the building leased up. Lafayette Logistics, some of y'all saw the press release back in early January. This is a group called Farpoint Development. They'll end up doing about $200 million in facilities on this site. This is out off of Whitesville Road behind McDonald's, back in that track where Orchard Hill dumps into Pegasus is where they're building it. They're in the process of timbering their first 2 locations to build a 175,000 square foot facility and a 250,000 square foot facility in industrial spec. Nobody else in the Southeast is doing industrial spec, but we are. And we're winning big. And it's because of our industrial base that we already have. And so when you have 116 manufacturing facilities in your community, you're going to win in the long term. And we are. I'm going to go real quick because I got 5 minutes, and it's at Project Wolf. It's Great Wolf Lodge doing a $30 million expansion. Project Wing is a very strategic aviation project going on the airport. Not a big project, but a very strategic one. We are killing it in aviation right now. Many of y'all may not know that all of Delta's ground support equipment training in the country happens in LaGrange, Georgia, at West Georgia Technical College. They stay at the Marriott. Can't get people in there. That's one of the reasons why. Flying in from all over the country to do that training. And then obviously have Fokker Services, and this project will go right with it. We have LaGrange College and the flight school now to put all these things in. We're really taking over from that standpoint. Project Phoenix is a project that will blow all y'all's minds when it happens, and I think it's going to happen. We're down to the final 2. It's another headquarter project bigger than Remington. 100 jobs, average pay $133,000. We're down to the final 2. They're either gonna stay where they are in the Northeast, or they're coming with Prince George, and they already have a presence. And so, enormous project. You talk about this and Project Polly, which is that other big company we talked about. The point that's 150 something new jobs at an average pay of 120,000. When Milliken left and the design center shut down, I think we lost 30 or 40 families, devastated this community. Now you start talking about bringing 150 at that level. We're at a different level as we go forward. Now, from a housing standpoint, I'm going to go real quick. We have almost 6,000 housing units in planning or construction right now, right? So we got 4,000 already entitled to permit. We have 1,400 multifamily projects that will come online in the next 60 days. And they're all leasing up. And there's all these arguments, well, it's not affordable. You're right. It's not $1.60 a square foot, ain't affordable. But it's called supply and demand, and they're filling up. So we're working with the housing authority on some projects and trying to bring more tiny homes and some other things. We're having to work with the city on changing the code to allow. But we started working on housing, many of y'all know, back in 2017. Everybody got mad when I started talking sewer infrastructure, but that was the driver to this. And we've got a lot of that infrastructure in place now. That's why you're seeing explosion of housing, and jobs are the biggest part of that. And so, and it's all over. It's not just one thing. 2,000 multifamily, I have over 1,000 townhomes, 1,200 single family, 33 commercial projects, 12 industrial projects. 5% of what we do is industrial development. We spend almost 95% of our time on housing, transportation, daycare, educational system alignment. That's what the drivers are. These jobs just allow us to spend our time on that. As you go through, you can see some of the pictures. These are the things that are going on right now around the community. I'll stop because I know I'm getting 1 minute and there might be a question. So I apologize for being so fast. But
We turn it over to you later, so we appreciate your question. Let's take a couple of questions.
Great presentation, Scott. 8 to 10 years ago, I think you were the mastermind behind this, when Amazon was looking for a place to relocate. You said, why not LaGrange?
Project like that for the headquarters.
And my question is there any connection between LaGrange kind of getting its name on the map and what's going on there?
Yeah, 100%. And so we were very strategic. Can tell you this is quite honestly why we did that project. This is the $5 billion people.
Yeah.
And everybody thought we were crazy. We were the smallest community in the country to build on that project. And we got a phone call more than everybody to us to say, you're not going to get the project, but we sure were impressed. Right? And so really Lakeside, we immediately started marketing as a headquarters project. Probably why not? Amazon was part of it. Where's everything going on that side? So you start putting the pieces together. There's a story. We got it. And it's a story because it's real. Right? And the history of the leadership that we have has been in place for a long time. And there's 3 days that drive this community every day, and everybody's proven it. Mr. Calloway put us in the electric business in 1904. His son put us in the gas business in the 30s, and set up that foundation in the 40s. That's hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. We all benefit from every single day.
I got a question, Scott. So, considering that the population of Range is 2 times that of the national average, the jobs that are coming here, they ain't gonna be these low fruit like 12, 13, 14, $15 jobs. These are gonna be your 6-figure, 80, 90,000 jobs, right?
You're 100% correct. So our company is, what we're talking about with that 5-year, right? It's not a business. You went on, I saw that on, you better get serious about it. We talked about it all the time. Right, but we're starting to get there. We're starting to see some real action. But what people don't know, and I'm on this, the average manufacturing wages in Truth County now is $68,000 a dollar, right? Healthcare is 66. Education is 52. Retail is 38. When you start looking at the caliber of jobs we're talking about, the best jobs, and you want to make sure to bring it, we've got the best jobs in the country. Right here in the Grand Border. We've got issues with it, but they want to wait people, then the driver in line to get out of it right now.
Thank you, Scott. Who feels optimistic about True County? But Scott, we appreciate what you do, the leadership you provide. It's easy to just think it's about the investment numbers and those job numbers, but it's so much more. I mean, it brings revenue to our local governments. It funds families. It funds our economy. And it's really about quality of life. So again, we appreciate the work that you and Kelly do and your team. We are going to make a donation to Polio Plus. Polio is still around since you were president. We're getting close. We're really close. So we're going to make a donation in your honor to Polio Plus. So upcoming programs, just to give you an idea, next week we have the author of the book Tenacious who's going to come talk to us. April 24th, we have Dr. Danielle Fallon, who is the Dean of Emory's Rollins School of Public Health. Sally Lefebvre, founder of Chattahoochee Riverkeeper, on May 1st. And then Brian Ginn with PCOM, which is a partner with LaGrange College, is going to be here on May 8th. So thank you all for being here. Have a great week.
Thank you.